Hello and welcome to GAPCAST, Shattering the Gap Taboo, one story and strategy at a time. I decided to put together a celebrity segment spotlight for reactions to Gap comments from the most famous YouTubers, podcasters, celebs focused on human development. You're going to see a lot of them, some really famous people. They see them, they see the gaps, they mention them, they mention the gaps, they worry about them, they worry about the gaps. But here at GAPTrax, we address them head on and help you overcome them. So the same ones that you're constantly hearing about, and you say, okay, that's great, I heard about it. How do I solve it? You come to GAPTrax. Besides this segment with the reactions from the famous, we also are opening another new segment called GAPTrax. It's a GAPTrax lab to show you how we address them. So on the issues that we're going to bring up today, I'm going to record another video in the GAPTrax where I'll open up and show you the framework of how you can get past this. Okay? In case this is your first time here, a little bit about me. I am Debbie Foreman. I'm your host on GAPCAST. This is a unique space to discuss the world of gaps, the societal taboos associated to them, and the frameworks in place. We have a lot of framework that we put in place to close them. Simple framework, easy framework. I'm a global strategist. I'm a keynote speaker with 35 years helping people and organizations close the gaps that hold them back. I founded GAPTrax, which is a learning online platform along with a 7-step journey growth. So you can go from online to mentoring to events to enterprise. And I did this to take away the burden of those hidden obstacles for you to build bold, bankable growth, whether you're an individual, a team, a school, or an entire community. This is my calling, and it always has been. No one else does this systemically, not up until now. And I believe that the biggest breakthroughs start when we stop ignoring our gaps and master them. Transforming, behind all of these gaps are big, huge societal taboos. And you're going to be hearing a lot about this from famous people. And by transforming these taboos from weaknesses into power plays is when you come out ahead. My biggest dream in life is to leave a legacy, not for me, but to turn this into a standard for human development around the world because it is one of the most ignored areas. And so through GAPTrax and through opening this YouTube channel at the ripe age of 56, I'm going from behind the scenes to the forefront. So it's no longer just me doing it. It's the world. In this, today's reaction is one of my favorite people to watch, Trevor Noah. And it's going to be a conversation that he's having with Adam Grant. Well, hello, Adam. I don't know if you remember me. We met several times around 2014 is my guess in Sao Paulo, Brazil, when I was a service provider over at Reach Local. And I thought this would be a really good start for the first reaction that I'm doing. One, because I've met Adam in the past. Two, because I absolutely love Trevor Noah. But I think Trevor he's very strong and he brings up a lot. We're going to be doing a lot of Trevor's reactions to him because he talks about gaps all the time.
But I feel like in the world we're living in today, as people are getting more access to a more, what I would call like a niche existence, it's your For You feed, it's your algorithm, it's your way of seeing the world. Is there any science or is there a proven way to bridge the gap between yourself and somebody else? Especially, let's start with people you care about.
Okay, let's start there. First, he talks about the niche society, where each one of us is living almost our own existence, and we're becoming more and more separated from each other to be within our own micro universe. That within itself is a gap, and it's a big societal gap. We hear it all the time, people on social media and being on their phones and working from the home. But he's also talking about niche existence, where we each have our own little bubble and like a tribe in which we're in, and we're distancing ourselves from being able to live amongst others. And we're seeing this as the great divide. And then he talks about the gap and how to bridge this gap.
Yeah. Someone you care about
perception.
Who holds a view that you, as you said, would make you launch a rant against it. Like you go.
The gap in perception of somebody that you really like, that you holds a view that you like to rant about. How many people have opposing views and we start distancing ourselves from them because of their opposing views instead of being able to approach ourselves to be able to find common ground. I think this is a big thing that he's talking about here.
So like, I cannot believe you hold this view, knowing you as a human being the way I thought I did.
So ideally, what you start with is you say, okay, I'm feeling the strong temptation to preach and prosecute.
I got to stop there. This is a personal one for me, and I'm going to go back. We're about 6 days short of October 7th, which will be the 2 years since the Israel-Palestinian conflict began. And I'm Jewish. I don't hide it. And I've been getting more and more as time goes on. So when somebody has an opposing view, I'm not going to talk about what happened yesterday, but when people ask me, so what's it like? Aren't you ashamed to be Jewish and support Israel? They aren't willing to hear what I have to say. So what he's talking about is that Adam goes into about wanting to preach. Preaching also doesn't help. Ranting doesn't help. We need to be able to find common ground. So how do people that you really like, that have opposing views, and you feel that it's like personal to you, but they also have the right to their views, and it's important to be able to hear the common denominator why. Let's hear what Adam has to say about before wanting to go into
I want to
preaching on
think
this.
more like a scientist here. Don't let your ideas become your identity.
Okay.
So a good scientist would have the humility to know what they don't know and the curiosity to keep seeking new knowledge.
Okay.
And the way you start doing that is you say, what an interesting specimen. I mean, don't say that out loud.
Okay.
But I think
Okay.
I was like,
Okay, we're all interesting specimens. They're bringing up two different frameworks that we work on at GAPTrax here. One framework is what he said is, you know what you know. I'm just going to go real quick on that because we'll do the framework on the next episode, which is I know that I know that I don't know that I know, and I don't know that I don't know. I just said that really fast. We'll approach that. And the other one is that perception. I see myself as, I am seen as. Two different frameworks, same subject for us to go through the scientific experiment as specimens.
okay, this is
I
not
love
going
it.
to help build your friendships.
No,
okay.
but the more somebody holds a different opinion,
Yes.
the less you understand about how they think,
Okay.
even if you're offended by what they think. And that means you have to want to know more. So you've got a couple options. I think the first one is to just establish that.
Before he goes into all of the options, what he's talking about now are ways to start closing that gap. When people don't agree and you don't hold the same opinion, instead of fighting it out and turning your back and walking away, he's saying, how do you make the approach? And he's going to give a 3-step process to that
Two
approach.
reasonable, intelligent people can actually disagree.
Yeah.
And that's okay. A second is what I love to do is I love to ask, and this is when I remember to do it, it leads to a much better conversation. Like, okay, Trevor, so like you called yourself a Pisces. That's so interesting to me that you would put any stock in something that I think has no evidence behind it. What evidence would change your mind?
Evidence-based. Okay, so he brought in another framework for us, which is working through evidence. And the evidence, being able to use evidence, especially in subjective matter, which is something else we'll bring up in another episode, is really important. Because how do you show something that you feel, you see, or you perceive? And that's what Adam's talking about here.
What
See,
happens?
he stumped Trevor on that.
Usually people start to map out, well, this is the kind of study I would need to see. And then
Okay, he's talking about studies. And this is why I wanted to run these podcasts and YouTube channel. I'm running it through my brain really quick because he's talking about studies. You don't necessarily need studies. You need to be able to show evidence on how you yourself, that's how we close our own personal gaps through self-evidence. We're able to provide how you take the subjective and the objective and turn those into inputs and outputs and data or information, so on and so forth. We're able to substantiate things that are hard to put your fingers on. He's getting into more tech, which are like the big studies. But for individuals, there is a way to do this, which is really simple to learn, and nobody can.
Oh,
I
damn.
could
So you're out here laying logic traps.
Yeah, okay.
a little bit.
The logic bully has turned into the logic hunter. He's like
And I'm going to close this segment right here when he's talking about the logic bully turns into the logic hunter, where we go from, let's say, bullying or confronting or the conflicting views to being able to hunt down the information and the evidence that will link us together and to close those gaps. So I'm going to talk about this really quick so we can wrap this up. Why is this important? Point blank. If it were not an issue, if gaps were not an issue, and there's tons of gaps, but if they were not an issue, they wouldn't be such a subject of discussion, especially amongst the famous. They know them, you know them, they feel them, you feel them. And most often, and this is what Trevor's kind of hitting on, is that we shun away from them talking about them. And so here are the rich and famous talking about really difficult subjects. Yet when they hit your backyard, and they're in your life, you're not going to raise your hand and go on to social media and say, hey, listen to the gaps, listen to my diverse views, and this is what's stumping me, this is what's holding me back, this is what's keeping me from growing. So this is, it's really easy for the rich and famous to do it. This is why we did GAPTrax, for you to be able to have a safe space behind the scenes to work through what they're addressing, not just to listen to it, but to solve it. So I just wanted to recap really quick. They brought up 3 different frameworks that we use at GAPTrax, and we're going to pull those out so you can see them really quick. But I will go through those frameworks in the next episodes through the other segment. One of them is perception. I see myself as, I see you as, you see me as. So the perception gap. Another one is I know that I know that I don't know. And those are gaps, and we can play into those. And then right now, the third one, which the evidence. It's not exactly the gap per se, it's how do we close the gaps providing evidence. Each one of those is a small episode inside of GAPTrax. We'll mention those out so you can go on. I'm going to ask to put them down here or up there or somewhere so you can find them, because it's not me that's going to be editing this. Regardless of that, I really wanted to let you know that you don't have to just listen, neither to me or to the rich and famous. And that those gaps that you feel they are real, they hurt, and they cause a problem set of 4. Stagnation, qualification, competition, and results, along with a series of different conflicts. They're gut-wrenching in your stomach, they cause knots in your head, and they don't have to exist. I'm going to wrap this up saying, go if you really want to understand what we're talking about and what they're talking about it, and we're going to show you how to fix it. Watch into the next episodes. In the meantime, thank you for being on the channel. It's a pleasure.